And this is Captain, an 8-year-old Frisian quarter pony who loves bodywork.
He's a very healthy horse and doesn't actually have any real issues, but his owner is a dressage trainer and can give me very specific feedback of where she feels tension in his body when she's riding, and we work together so we can improve his performance. In this session, she guided me towards the front end of his body. She felt some tension in his forehand, and I started by looking at his head and found some imbalances in the area of his ears and in the area of his muzzle. I started the session by tuning into the craniosacral rhythm of his jaw and sensed the flexion and extension pattern of his head. I checked Captain's hyoid bone, which is kind of high up behind the lower jaw. It's a very important connection between the muscles of the tongue, the temples, the sternum, and even the inside of the shoulder blades. So that hyoid bone has a central role in the forehand of a horse. Captain is always very involved in our sessions and is helping hard, but I don't mind as long as he has his head in a relaxed position and lowers it. Here I'm working on his atlanto-occipital joint and he is sniffing my legs. When the horses are used to my style of body work, they relax relatively quickly early in the session, which can be seen by licking and chewing, yawning, shaking, or just lowering their heads. I felt for the pectoral muscles, assessed the position of the sternum and released some of that tension. Also worked on some nerves on the inside of his forelegs, which was very interesting to him. So he helped again. There are so many attachments at the elbow of the horse, and it's very important for a proper forward movement that stifle and elbow are free and have less tension. So I always make sure the horses are not fighting me when I try to stretch tissue, that they kind of relax into my movements, but then I give it a little direction of stretch and ask them again to relax into that new position. Sometimes horses come up with the funniest movements and motions to release tension. He has a beautiful neck, and I can see that he's a very gorgeous dressage horse. He has that very nice round curve. So I let him free up some of that tension. I listen to what people tell me, what they perceive from their animals, but I also listen to my hands and just follow the tension patterns. And front and hind end of a horse are connected with lots of muscles, and even the bones in the skull direct how the position of the pelvis can be. I obviously found a very interesting and juicy place right behind his forehand, and he gives me clear signs that that's a little uncomfortable. And a little uncomfortable always means we need to address it. So he has tension right in the area of the girth, and all these fibers going into the abdomen and his chest. And here's the first release starts, when I tune into his shoulder blade and have one hand on the wither. I check into the organs, look where the tension comes from. I ended up releasing the diaphragm, and he instantly showed signs of release as soon as two of my hands touched his body. The diaphragm is obviously the key structure. As soon as I engage with his diaphragm at the sternum and then the withers, he starts releasing. Still showing me it's a little bit uncomfortable, but mostly releases a lot of tension out of his body. What is very interesting is that as soon as I just use one hand and scratch his sternum and the area of the girth, he likes that and relaxes into it. But he does not release any tension, he's not yawning, he's just like standing there. As soon as I put my second hand on to engage with the diaphragm, he starts releasing again, and like multiple times in a row. So that means that I'm definitely on the right structure to help him get rid of tension inside of his body.